Hey everyone, thank you for joining me today. I'm Frida Polli. I'm the CEO and founder of a company called Pymetrics. Pymetrics uses soft skills and artificial intelligence to match everyone with their best fit job accurately and fairly. So today I would like to talk to you about the equalizing potential of soft skills. And to do so, please allow me shortly to share a quick video with you, quick set of slides actually. Great. Okay, so I just wanted to talk to you quickly about how we can use soft skills for the purpose of equalizing a lot of the inequalities that we see in our workforce. So first of all, let's just start out with what does the status quo look like today? So the World Economic Forum put out a Future of Jobs report and predicts that there will be 85 million jobs that will be displaced by 2025, which doesn't sound like a very good number. And yet, at the same time, 97 million new jobs that will emerge. And I think that is important because, as we can see, there's just a massive reallocation of labor that is happening. And at the same time, there's a growing gap in employment opportunities between what we consider low and high skilled individuals, right? And when we think about low and high skills, we're really talking about hard skills. And what I'd like to the premise I'd like to put forth to you today is that the power of soft skill assessment or understanding people's soft skills is that it can help bridge this gap as well as many other gaps that exist in the workforce by ameliorating a lot of the problems that we see with hard skills gaps. And I'd also like to make the point that soft skills are really critical for the future of work in general. Even if they weren't equalizing, they're actually super, super important just in general for what we need to know about our workforce. Soft skills are increasingly recognized as a critical part of the labor force, and yet employers are really struggling to keep up and to measure and identify these soft skills accurately. So just, a couple of, facts out there. 12% see a growth in soft skill intensive occupations, which is great. It means that, we're not all going to be replaced by robots and that, human soft skills are critical. 92% of talent professionals and hiring managers say that soft skills are just as and sometimes more important than hard skills. And I would actually argue that they're more important because hard skills can be trained, whereas soft skills, some can be trained. But I think that understanding someone's true soft skill fit for a role is critical to helping them find their right path in life. 89% of HR leaders believe that failed hires result from a lack of the right soft skill fit. It doesn't mean that somebody was necessarily a inherently bad employee. It just meant that their soft skill fit wasn't the right one. And 75% of employers say they have difficulty identifying recent college graduates, identifying the soft skill profiles of recent college grads. So again, critically important for the future of work, and yet very, very challenging for people to understand how to assess them properly. And again, I think part of the problem is that our legacy HR practices are suboptimal for understanding somebody's soft skill profile. And I say this because it's part of the founding story of Pymetrics. So I was an academic scientist, and I was in academia for over a decade. And I left academia because I wanted to find a better use or more applied use case for the science that we'd been developing. And I went to business school thinking, okay, I'll find a use case. And it kind of hit me in the face when I was watching recruiting for 2 years. Well, that's what MBA students do. And the thing that struck me the most was that people were trying to glean all of these soft skills from essentially what is a document of hard skills, a resume, right? And so, resume, they were trying to figure out, is somebody a team player? Is somebody altruistic or self-interested? Does somebody have attention to detail? And they would be trying to figure out all these soft skills from essentially just a bunch of, resume factoids that don't really tell you that much about someone's soft skills. And so I really think that instead of trying to glean soft skills from a resume, from somebody's hard skill experience, which is not the right way to do it, we should actually measure them directly and just understand that legacy HR practices, while good for the time, need to be updated in order for us to be able to do that more. And so what new science has been brought to bear on the problem, you might ask? Is there something that can help me understand people's soft skills? The answer is yes, there is. And I think that that's what's exciting about some of the new science that has been developed over the last couple of decades in terms of helping people, HR professionals and others understand somebody's soft skill profile. Now, again, there have been traditional methods of evaluating soft skills, and those were excellent sort of precursors to, I think, what is now a better scientific approach. And so really, my background again is that I was a cognitive scientist for a decade. And what we were able to determine was that there are cognitive, social, and emotional aptitudes in people that are sort of inherent in everybody, and that they can be sort of identified and decomposed into different elements. And essentially, we call them cognitive, social, and emotional aptitudes. And we knew that they were predictive of research outcomes in the field. I think they're commonly referred to as soft skills. And what this ability to evaluate these soft skills in a more behavior-based approach, which is really what cognitive science allows us to do, is that it allows us to gather a much more complete, holistic, high density 3D picture of a person. So it's a really much more, it's just a much richer picture of somebody and their soft skill profile. So, I've sort of explained to you the business case for using soft skills. Now I just want to help you understand sort of the bigger picture of why soft skills are so important in terms of matching people to new opportunities. And there are really four reasons that I think, it goes beyond, obviously business necessity is critical, but I think it's beyond business necessity in terms of why we should focus on soft skills. It really talks to sort of the equalizing potential and sort of how these soft skills can really help us advance social goals that we all care a lot about. So one is that soft skills tend to be much more durable signs of inherent potential. So we'll talk about that in a minute. Two is that they tend to be much more future facing, which is really what we need to be focused on right now if we're trying to help everyone sort of realize their true potential. Three is that they provide new, unique pathways to economic opportunity. And underlying all of this is number four, which is that they are much more equally distributed and unbiased. So let's just start with number one, which is that they're durable signs of inherent potential. What that means is that, think about what's happening in the world today. I was in retail for 30 years. My retail job is now gone, and I have to evaluate what do I bring to the table. If I just look at my hard skill repertoire, that might make me feel very demoralized about what I could potentially do. If I look at my soft skill profile, that might make me feel extremely hopeful about what the future holds, right? Because really soft skills don't go away just because an industry is gone. Soft skills are what make us all human. They are what we bring to the table inherently as human beings. They capture cognitive, social, and emotional characteristics that are inherent in people, and they never go away. Your soft skill profile is always there with you, even if your hard skills somehow become less relevant in today's economy. So I think not only are they durable signs of inherent potential, they're also critical for making people feel valued and like they have a place in the world of work. The second thing, and this is related, is that they're future facing. So what this means is that my soft skill profile might tell me I have a whole range of job opportunities that I may never have considered previously. And that's critical to think about, right? Because, in life, even if we have multiple careers, we probably won't exhaust all of the possible job paths that we could have chosen based on our soft skill profile, but we need to know what those are. And we need to understand that the broad array of jobs that we could do is much, much wider than the few jobs that we may have picked to actually do. So really it's much more optimistic, and it's future facing in sort of explaining to us what we could do, even if we have never actually done it previously. And that's critical, I think, for facing this new world in which we're going to be launched into of new talent challenges and opportunities that we have not met before. The third important aspect about soft skills is they provide pathways to economic opportunities. So I always say that, you know, two people with the same soft skill profile, if they're raised in very different socioeconomic environments, are going to have very different resumes. Think about it. If I'm a person raised in, you know, a sort of impoverished neighborhood in a particular area, I'm going to have a very different resume than if I grew up in a very privileged background. But my soft skill profile may be exactly the same. Again, soft skills are equally distributed, hard skills are not. And so soft skills do not rely on sort of the restrictive credentialing mechanisms that we have in the country that often, you know, for better or worse, track socioeconomic opportunity. And so they can take somebody who may not have been exposed to sort of socioeconomic environments that would have led them to having certain hard skill profiles and reintroduce them to those opportunities. So for example, you could have sort of been in low wage jobs your entire life, but your soft skill profile could make you well suited for high skill occupations, and all you need is the training to get there. So inherently you have those capabilities, and it's really just, you know, sort of the socioeconomic disadvantage that led you to not having them. So soft skills can be hugely equalizing. And then sort of underlying all of this is that soft skills are equally distributed among the population. And I think that's what makes them so powerful, in that, you know, they generally don't differ between men and women. They generally don't differ between people of different races and socioeconomic backgrounds. So if we're thinking about forces that can equalize society, I think we have to start thinking about looking at people's soft skills much more closely, and discounting their hard skills, because hard skills, not entirely, but to some extent, because hard skills can be learned, and it really just takes the right soft skill profile. So hopefully I've explained to you the power of soft skills, and then I just wanted to be very specific about what soft skills can really do for someone. And I think that what we find is that soft skills can really open up new possibilities. And again, it's back to this idea that, you know, I'm in a current position, I have a particular, you know, current position. The future opportunities available to me might be much, much broader than what my current position tells me. And I think it really opens up many, many new opportunities. And on that note, I think would love to share with you a really, really powerful story of folks that have been using soft skill profiling in the context of reskilling. So there's a really heartwarming story of a woman named Lois Brown, who went through a combination of soft and hard skill assessment as part of a Ohio to Work reskilling effort. And, you know, she had been in essentially a customer, you know, frontline service job in live entertainment. And that job obviously had gone away, and had gotten to the point where she had become homeless because of her lack of employment. So she went through a whole program delivered through Ohio to Work. And the first sort of spark in that program was going through Pymetrics and understanding that actually her soft skill profile was very optimally suited for careers in healthcare, which she had never considered and never done before. And again, through lots of, you know, support through Ohio to Work and, you know, the Cleveland area Urban League, she was able to then get the relevant job training and is now employed in a healthcare context. So again, this was all done through a tremendous amount of support and reskilling, but that initial spark, that initial matching of Lois to a career in healthcare wouldn't have happened if she hadn't been evaluated from a soft skill potential. So really powerful story. I'll leave you with that. And this is all to say that I think as we start to think about sort of, you know, the work of the future, the economy of the future that we want to see, we have to start thinking about soft skills and how important those are in, you know, again, not only achieving those critical business outcomes of hiring the right people, making sure that they have the right relevant soft skills, which are so critical for people being successful at work, but we can also feel very, very heartened that in looking at someone's soft skills aside from just their hard skills, we're actually helping to equalize the opportunities that we so desperately want to equalize in the world today. So with that, I'll say goodbye. Hopefully you learned something about soft skills and why they're so important to the work of the future. And I look forward to catching up with you at a later date.